So now I welcome um, Vani Shanmuganathan. Vani Shanmuganathan is a full-time homemaker living with her family in Boston. She is a mom of two children enjoying her motherhood by following the best practices that she learned from the East and West. She believes that raising little ones by staying beside them provides special value and resigned her IT job. She worked as a Microsoft certified technology specialist in which she has accomplished remarkable achievements in R&D team. She is a certified master in simplified Kundalini system founded by Vedatri Maharishi. She is also an ambassador for Siddha-Vetha Center for Transdisciplinary Studies. She likes ancient recipes for cooking and always enjoys exploring new things. She might also be talking about raising a child. Maybe it's a conscious child or child consciously. So it's up to her. Um, uh, you can start talk, Vani, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sean. Good evening, everyone. Valga Valamudan. Let me share my presentation first.
Yeah, you may start while it's being shared. Yeah.
So is it visible, Dr. Sean?
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Vani. I'm living in Boston. I have two children. Elder one, she is 6.5 years old, and my little one is like 20 months old now. I would like to share my experiences and what are all the best things, practices I learned from my gurus and parents, grandparents. I would like to share the experiences, how I'm raising my children. First thing is like, what is conscious parenting? As Jayanti said, the first thing is like respect the child. So I always feel like I got two souls. As a gift. So they have chosen us for something they are expecting from us. Like we would give the best thing for them, right, in the life. So I got that opportunity raising those gifts like with the best practices. That's what I feel. And always our aim is like raising the children as a good person in the world. Not only in the point of economically stable or studies or anything like that, but we would like to raise the good person to the world, to the universe, because we always have a thought like we are all the human beings. We have the sixth sense. Really are we using the sixth sense for our self-realization? What is the difference between us and the animals? We have so far achieved in the technology and everything, but are we really, doing good for the humanity? So that's always we have the question. So while raising the kid in each and everything, we got that question, like, are we raising the kids in the proper way, in the conscious way? That's what, we are thinking like. So, we learned a lot from our grandparents, parents, and our Guru Vedatri Maharishi, and the ancient things. Like so far, we have implemented lots of conscious practices. So I would like to share those things with you. Like where we have implemented is like food, medicine, habit, daily rituals and culture. I mean, with respect to food, what we think is like what do you eat is what you are, and also what you think is what you get. So the mind also plays a major role in the life, as well as like what you eat is also like more important. So the food should be like the food is what you, right? So I mean, we always prepare like homemade food for the kids, because I mean, like, I mean, the store bought things always has the preservatives and everything which is not good for health. That is different. As well as if you prepare your homemade food, you are mixing your love and compassion in the food, so it goes to the kid, and you are raising the kid with a full compassion, right? So that gives the full satisfaction to the kids as well as you. So that's what we feel like. From the scratch, I prepare everything, like mixers, instant powders and everything. I never ever buy any instant mixers, batters and everything. But sometimes I feel like I have faced some uh, I mean hard time when the kids sick or when I sick. So I plan accordingly, like with, I mean, once a month or once 3 months, I prepare like all the instant powders, chutney powders, and everything. I keep it ready based on their taste and how I can manage. So that's how I mean, always take care about the food. And at home, like I always follow the rules, avoid all the incompatible foods like table salt, white sugar, maida, everything, like all the avoid incompatible foods. And also, like I have recently studied the Siddha course from a Veda University, and I came to know like the food is like we should not take the raw food and cooked food like that. And there are lots of practices which we are like in the modern. I mean, based on the culture collaboration, now we are not at all giving importance to that, and based on that we are facing the consequences. Actually, with my elder child, I faced lots of health issues because we were not aware of those things. And we didn't follow the rules in the food, so she got eczema. And based on that, I mean, it becomes an eye opener for me, and I learned lots of things and completely changed. So I we give more importance to the food, and we completely follow this rule at home. And the second thing is like with medicine. I mean, and I have been raised in a family where the home remedies is like completely followed in my, I mean, grandparents' time. But in my parents' time, it's been slowly, lean towards the modern medicine. And also we have faced the consequences of the modern medicine. But I always wonder, like my grandma was always using home remedies, but we were using lots of allopathy medicine. It changed the society. Like if someone coughs nearby, I mean, the people will get scared. Oh, I will catch cold. I may get any disease from that person, like that. I mean, here also I have seen lots of people. If a small children coughs, they'll get scared and run away from there. So I always wonder, like, is that our immunity? It's a small child, just coughs. I mean, a big person is just running out of the location by seeing that kid is sick, right? So, I mean, still we are not confident about our immunity and the solution for it, right? So I always rely on home remedies now. I mean, the courses which gave me confidence is like, I mean, Siddha home remedies course. I can say I have seen the difference by raising the kids who were, the elder one I raised with the initially with the allopathy medicine, and faced lots of consequences. But my little one, I completely raised with the home remedies and the Siddha medicine. He is fine and all right. I'm not at all worried about him. I can leave him in the soil. I can leave him barefoot in the soil. I can leave him outside everywhere, and I'm not at all worried about him, because I have the confidence, and I know what I need to give for each and every sick, if we get sick like that. So I completely follow the home remedies and Siddha medicine now, and I'm slowly transitioning my elder one as well. I'm seeing a lot of change in the health wise also. Like we have been like following these practices for almost 4 years. We feel we are having much stamina now, when we were before, like 4 years ago, I mean, having all those incompatible foods and allopathy medicines and modern lifestyle. But after transitioning to the ancient lifestyle and home remedies and homemade food and Siddha medicine, there is a lot of change. And even in the thought process as well, it gives a good quality of thought. So I completely give importance for the food and medicine. So the second thing is like we always care about the habit. So the habit wise, like I always say like family care, like while raising the elder one, I always combine with the little one. I talk, your brother, you need to take care of your brother. He always love you. He wants to play with you. So you have to, mingle with him and share your toys like that. And I always praise this sister, like, oh, you got a nice brother. He always love you like that. So she thinks like she's a very great sister in the world, and it gives a great bonding between the kids. So so sharing is not at all a problem. Now, initially, when my little one is born, she's little upset, like a mom is always with the little one. But when my little one started crawling and always going behind her, she's so happy. She thinks like she's the princess in the world. A little one is following her. So like that, the family, turns now. So the family care is like very much important, and no gadgets at all. Almost like we have stopped TV for almost 2 years now. Initially, I did some mistakes while raising the elder one. Like I played some of the rhymes while feeding, and I saw like she's keep on watching and she doesn't know what she's eating at all. So I felt very bad, and I thought, oh, how can I transit from her? So what I did is like I took her to the library and found what are all the interesting books with lots of pictures. Then I bring back lots of books. Then I sit with her. Then when she's hungry, right? So I will not ask her to eat. I'll take her food. I'll pretend like I'm going to eat her food. So what she does is like, Mama, can I share your food? And she'll join me always. So so that's how like I detached from the watching TV. Then I slowly transitioned to the books. Then now she's almost like following the ancient practice. Like she sit in a place and she always talk to me and eat the food. She doesn't need book also. Like slowly I from the TV and now following the ancient practice, and we talk about how it works, how it digests in the body like that, and it goes. So no gadgets at all. So the kids will not get addicted to the gadgets. So that's must have it. We must watch. Then daily and other activities like I always encourage her to clean up the toys. Sometimes, while washing vessels also, I'll include her. Not on the daily washing, but like some different vessels I'll wash. I'll call her and show her like, see this copper vessel. It looks like brown. So when I use the lemon juice, it turns green. So these are reacting. Like I teach some science while doing the daily activity. So I always encourage her to clean, wash, then arrange things like that. I encourage her in the daily activities. So that becomes a habit now. And the main thing is like share daily experiences. The thing is like once she returned from home, we always have a nice talk. What are the subjects she has, and where did she sit during her lunchtime, snack time, which friend talked to her, and what did she bring? Then what did she learn, which teachers came, that what are the different subjects she had like that. So the whole daily what she has done in the school she shared with me. And we also have a practice of having like between us, like my husband and myself, like we talk how was their day and what we had done, what all the friends we met, what we did like that. So we have a practice of sharing our experiences. So this will give the kids to identify what they have done good in the day, what they have learned and what are their mistakes, and we also like discuss like how we can solve or how we can change that situation. Like that we talk. Sometimes she talks like, my mama, my friend, she didn't share a toy. Then I ask her like, what kind of toy? I mean, did you ask her, please? Then even though if you ask please, okay, then ignore, then take another toy and play. She will automatically will share or something like that. I'll give some ideas to her. Like, so sharing daily experiences, like give idea how I mean the children behave in other situations when the parents were not there, and you can always like give guidance when they lag in some situations like that. So this plays a very important role, which I feel with respect to the habit and the daily rituals. So there is no, I mean, skip in the daily rituals. Actually, my daughter starts very early in the morning. She gets up 5:30 and she has to catch the bus by 6:45. So she starts from home at 6:40. But what I mean, we will not skip any like to I mean toothbrushing, bathing. So we do all the rituals in the morning itself because she knows the value, because we need to take bath. It's good for health, and we need to brush the teeth. Initially, we face some hard situations in the early morning, and she was so little. She was very much not interested in toothbrushing. For bathing she is okay, but what we did is like, in one of our family member had some tough situation with one of her teeth. He has to do a root canal treatment. So actually, I mean, we took our daughter to that root canal treatment. She was sitting beside the doctor, and she was completely watching the procedure, what they are doing. So she got shocked, and she asked lots of questions. I completely answered all the questions with patients. Like, the uncle didn't follow the parents' rule. He didn't brush his teeth in the morning as well as in the night. So all the food particles stuck in the teeth, and the insects came out and they eat the teeth as well. So they are doing this procedure. Then she really understood, oh mama, if I didn't brush my teeth morning and evening, it will happen. Then she automatically, now she is always doing her toothbrushing very easily. So we don't need to give advices. If they see practically, or if they get a chance to understand the concept, they will automatically follow the concepts and rules. So that's what we feel like. And the practical experience will give more knowledge, because the experience will store in them, and it will pop up, and it will intimate them to execute their activities. So that's what we feel. With respect to the, other thing is like culture. I always speak mother tongue at my home. In the early ages, when she goes to preschool, she come back and she talks in English. I pretend like I didn't understand English, so I always like speak in Tamil. So she automatically swaps the language, and she started learning mother tongue. And in some of the articles I read from articles, as well as some of the videos from Healer Bhaskar, I learned like if a person saying please or thank you or important words in mother tongue, that really reaches their heart. So I'm implementing that as well. I myself really, to truth, I really felt that if I'm saying sorry or please in the mother tongue, really it reaches my heart. So I'm also teaching my kids, even though we speak mother tongue, sometimes these words we use from the English, but it really doesn't mean. They simply say sorry, simply say please. But if they try to say it in mother tongue, it reaches their heart if they really speak mother tongue at home. And also, like, if a kid is speaking mother tongue from the childhood, their the capacity of thinking power is more when compared to speaking in other language. So I strongly believe in that, and I always encourage speak mother tongue, because kids has a capacity of speaking um, maximum of 8 languages. I'm not sure about the number of languages, but they can speak more languages and they can swap whenever they need it. So we don't need to worry about they cannot learn English or they cannot learn other language, but always speak mother tongue. Whatever is the language, don't worry about it, speak always mother tongue. So that helps in building the brain more. Then next thing is like I have been built in the culture of like co-bedding, so it really helps in the kids brain development, hormone changes and everything. Like they feel secured, and like the family binding is like very closer. So I always strongly encourage co-bedding with the kids. Then introducing others, the third one is like introducing others. So in our culture, like we always introduce the persons like with a small relationship like uncle, auntie, to the kids. But in the Western culture, like they are using he's a neighbor, this lady, this person, or they are using the names. So this is like kind of detached thing, as well as like always the kids to look everyone as a stranger and like insecure to feel. I feel like the kids will get always insecure feeling when they introduce the others. So I always encourage, if you know a person and introducing to the kids, like it's good to introduce with the relationship like uncle or auntie, or in the kids like brother or sister. It really matters, because like that builds a strong bonding between the kids while playing itself. So it's good to do that. And the dress identity and everything, like I follow the culture, because if I would like to dress or keep the identity in my culture, I would dress it. Like I should dress it. The parents should dress based on their culture, and they should follow the identity. Like I have been raised in a Eastern culture where my mom keeps always bindi, uses kungum, then the holy ash, the traditional dresses. I always love that culture, because from the Marma, I always follow that, but from the Marma course, I learned the scientific reason behind it. Why are we keeping the bindi? Why are we using the holy ash? It takes all the water, excess water from your head. And if you are keeping bindi or kungum, it really, you are activating your Marma point, which helps for your brain development. But it is not necessary to keep the bindi. Right, but you may forget to trigger your Marma point. But if you follow that ritual, it really helps. So that's what I learned. So I love following those identities and dressings and everything from my culture. So I want my kid to follow that. So if you want anything from your kid, you have to live in that way. So that's what I follow. And also like fine arts from a culture, like the music and dance, like the traditional classical dance and classical music always has a very good value from the East. And like the Bharatanatyam and other things, like it has the mudras. It's good for health as well. So I encourage my kids to follow the classical music as well as classical dance. And with the traditional festivals and traditional food, I always celebrate all the traditional festivals which have been followed from my husband's as well as my culture. And also like I explain why are we celebrating the festival. For example, like Pongal, so it's a harvest festival. I always explain that we are depending on farmers. Farmers are growing the crops, and we are getting food from them, and the crops are growing from the soil, and the sun, water, and all the 5 elements are helping it. So we are doing a thank for them. Like I always explain the science behind it as well, like the Kartigai light festival. So it's in the rainy season we celebrate this festival. So when we keep the diyas outside with a cotton wick, as well as the sesame oil. Sesame oil produces heat, so in all houses we keep the diya, so it produces lots of heat, and it helps the air around that earth, its atmosphere, and it will stop getting spreading the diseases during the rainy season. Like that, I explain everything to my daughter. And also what we did is like we had a chance to go back to a native place when she's before like 5 years. So we stayed there for a long time, like 8 months. Our plan is like to stay there for long times and showed all the major festivals, how we celebrate and what is that for, and what are the traditions we followed. So we lived over there for like 8-9 months, and she was so really happy at that time, and she has those memories now, and she is very eager to go back and celebrate those festivals and enjoy over there. Like hopefully we make it chance in future as well to celebrate all the festivals. And always like the traditional food is good, because I don't I always like the fusion food, like mixing with different cultures and changing, introducing new food. But traditional food has its own value, like for the immunity wise, and like it's good for your gene because you have been raised in that way. And so I always suggest the traditional food should be your we should follow the traditional food, which how we have been raised from based on our culture. Then the next main thing is like toys. I strongly believe like toys are like, we buy for fun, but it's most important for early ages of development. The thing is like they are living, their world is small, where they are at home, they are playing with the toys, so they are in the imagination world with the toys. So we should be very conscious about buying the toys. I really, I will not suggest the toys related to violence like guns. I really, worried about the toy shops over here. If I go to buy, toys for boys, almost like most of the toys are like guns. Are we really raising our kids for fighting with the people? No, right? We want we would like to raise the good children, right? We don't want to fight with anybody. So I always think in that way. Toys should add some value to their life. So, and also like in the early ages of developing their mind, it's not good to introduce the violent style, at least in the early age. So we must buy the toys. It should add some value to their mind as well as their life. So buying toys is more important. Even not only for our kids, while presenting gifts to other kids also, we should not do that. Like we should buy toys with more consciousness. The next thing is like teaching ancient practices. So I already said like about the daily rituals. The next thing is like feel the nature. They feel the nature in the sense like I always teach about the seasons and how it changes for the kids. Sometimes like I live without AC during summer. So they should feel like how the summer is like that, and I'll stretch out to some extent during winter as well. And also like I like the kids to play in nature, like on the grass, on the soil, and also explain about the five elements. Sometimes like how rain comes, she feels like while playing the rain comes, oh I don't like. But I explain like there are lots of trees, lots of forest and animals, so they need water. So that's why like the rain has come, so we should not do that. We have a shelter, we have water, whenever you want you can go and drink, but trees are not like that. Like, so I talk to her in that way. So she, I'm trying to teach her how the nature works as well. And eating, with respect to eating food, so I always encourage the kids to eat with their own hand. I mean, at home, no spoon is allowed. So they should touch the food, they should feel how it is, and they should smell the food, and they should eat, because it helps in their digestion and in the mindset. They can concentrate and eat the food, and it helps their body as well. So I always encourage the ancient practices of eating food with a hand, as well as we don't use any dining table or anything. We keep all the food at the floor. We always have, we most of the time we eat as a family, whole family together. And we follow these practices, like sitting in the Sukhasana posture and eating the food. But my elder one is like little wiggly. I know she cannot sit in a position for a long time, but she is still working on that. But we are strictly following that. And we are following those things of ancient way of lifestyle. And also the last one, with respect to the ancient practices, is like understanding the hard times. If there is any tough situations, like financial, or at the friend's place, if she didn't get any good food, different food, if she doesn't like that, I always say, like, food gives energy, and always love food. You should not avoid, or based on the taste or anything, like, should not avoid. So always, like, in a different, friends or others place also, you have to adjust to the situation, and you have to eat the food. You should not waste like that. So I always try to explain her to understand the hard times and adjust to that situation. And sometimes, like, she asked, with respect to food, she asked, like, we actually follow, vegan at home. So she asks her questions about the meat and egg. I explain her, like, so with respect to the living being, I explain to her, and I always explain her, like, I should not, we didn't follow those concepts, but they are our friends, and they didn't know it will hurt. So one day they will change, like that. I talked to her. And teaching, the last one is like teaching the moral values. 2 points I emphasize is, like, I teach my kid, like, learn from others. Even if it's a baby also, you should learn. Sometimes from the little one, she has a tough situation, like she may get he may tear a paper or something like that, so she'll get angry. So I explain, like, this, our brother is, like, growing. He will not understand, like, you are like 6 years now. He is a baby. Within a moment, the little one smiles. He will not keep the vengeance, or he remember things, right? So you have to look at the good, good thing he has. Like that, you have to look all the good values and good characters from your other friends as well. That's what I always teach my daughter. Sometimes with the friends also, she will get some misunderstanding, and she'll come back to me. I always, like, speak to her in the positive way. She is a friend. Sometimes she will not understand. So, be patient. She is a friend, like that. I always encourage her, and I always teach her, like, you can learn good things from anybody, like even from a baby or from a elder one. So age doesn't matter. That's why I always encourage her and teach her. And the live with satisfaction. That is, like, sometimes, like, I face hard situations, like, she compares with her friends. She is having this thing, he is having this thing. I want that thing, I want this thing, like that. She'll come back. So I will not get all the things she asks, because they will not understand, like, we should not give the situation like my mom will get everything for me, like that. I will not encourage that situation. So what I do is, like, I ask her, for example, if she asks, her clip is very nice, amma, I ask her, do you have any clip? she says, oh, I have lot. Okay, then you have a clip. So what is the need of a clip? To clip your hair, and it should look good. So you have a lot. So why is there is a need of buying another one? Like that, I talk to her, and always say her like, be happy and be satisfied and what you have. If it's really needed, I can get you, but you have lots of thing, right? So I always like ask questions to her, and I'll get the answers from her itself. She'll, at the conclusion, she'll say, okay, Amma, I have lots of clips and there is no point in getting the same clip again. So she will conclude it. That's how I ask questions to her. And the last thing is like we follow the daily rituals in the morning and evening. We say divine protection statements that suggested by the Vedatri Maharishi, like we are always protected by the divine while going out. So she is so happy, like she's protected from like a golden ball, and she's so happy. And while sleeping, we always bless family. Each and everyone's name. We say each and everyone's name. Then close relations. Then her friends. Then the whole world. We imagine like a globe. We always say the blessings like a whole family, and that's a daily ritual at home before go to bed. And then auto suggestion, like I'm living a very good life with the prosperity and enough knowledge and everything like that. That's also suggested by the Vedatri Maharishi, so that we follow. And also the twofold moral principle, that is like I always do good to others, and if anyone is suffering, I always help them. So this is the statement of twofold moral principle. So we follow all these rituals, but we always say all these things in our mother tongue, so it really reaches our heart. So also we feel as soon as we complete the blessings, auto suggestion, and twofold moral principle, our heart is completely full of peace, and she immediately goes to sleep. That's what I have noticed so far. We are following this for like almost like 6 months now. So these are all the things where I have implemented with my daughter and the little one. And with respect to the responsibilities as a parent, we always keep up the promise, whatever we give the promise to her. Then myself and my husband, we don't discuss the conflicts in front of the kids. We always discuss everything separately, and we share everything as the same decision. And we all this next thing is like build the self-confidence, answer their questions. Then give importance to ideas and comments. She come up with small ideas and comments. I always give importance to that, and I ask a couple of questions, and she'll refine that, and she'll come back. So always encourage and appreciate the accomplishments. And if there is any mistake also, just ask questions. She'll find her mistake, and she'll understand the solution itself. So I will not pinpoint. I ask a couple of questions with respect to it in the positive manner. And framing their knowledge with respect to the nature, family, society, time, and money based on the conscious things. That's what we are doing now. So challenges faced, I have just talked in the between, like food, gadgets, then cultural and society. So in all the things I have faced the challenges. Wherever I face challenges, like I talk to her, then I revisit myself, like what I have done with respect to food, because of the culture, different culture, living in the in the middle of different culture. So what I look for is like I always remove the incompatible food, and I follow the rules of what I have learned in the course, like I will not combine raw and cooked food like that. Then I create the fusion recipes as well for her, but I always give importance to the traditional one. Gadgets is strictly no, but sometimes like she is growing, she wants to to hear some of the stories or some things like other kids. What I do is like instead of watching TV or giving phone to her, I just play the good stories in the phone, and I'll ask her to hear. I will not allow her to watch. She hears. So this allows her to improve her imagination power and concentration as well. That's what we have been raised in an early age. In the radio, we used to hear lots of stories, plays like that. So that increases our imagination power. That's what we are also following with respect to the kids. Seasonal troubles, like here, living in the East Coast, my winter is a big problem. So I usually take to the libraries and friends' place, and that's what we are doing. And the culture and society, like I always follow the culture and identity which I have raised. Yeah, so these are all the things we have been implementing with respect to the conscious parenting. So in conclusion, so I'm implementing. My maternal and paternal grandparents are my great inspirations for me, and my parents, and my husband also helping me a lot. In implementing the conscious parenting, and we are following the simplified Kundalini Yoga, Vedatri Maharishis. So, we are implementing that from the childhood itself. I would really suggest the mind plays a more important thing as well as a psychological thing as well. So, the Maharishis things are really important. Really helping in raising the kids in the conscious way. And I learned a Siddha course, home remedies course, then Marma course, transcendental course from Veda centers. I'm completely following those which I have learned in my parenting. And Dr. Selva, Dr. Adib, and Dr. Priya, and Kupusami. I'm following their suggestions in raising the kids. So that's why, I got the confidence of raising my little one without a single medicine. Touch wood, I never met any pediatrician for my little one's sickness. I have totally handled with the home remedies and the Siddha medicine itself for the little one. So yeah. So these are all my experiences in raising my kids. So thanks for giving the opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Sean.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Now open for questions. Let me unmute everyone. Okay, so you might start your questions. Any questions?
So yeah, Ashwini again. So just out of curiosity, both of you, what makes it a little extra in this modern world is the fact that you both gave up your job and came into this phase. So when do both of you, I don't know if Jayanti is still there, but do you feel comfortable going back into your professional careers and conscious parenting at the same time? So Vani can answer.
Yeah, absolutely, Ashwini. Actually, I recently quit my job when my little one, just before the little one's delivery. I have faced, for the elder one, I raised her till when she is 3 years. But I got the help from my parents. But still, I felt like there is some lagging with my kid, even though she's getting help from my grandparents and she goes to the nearby preschool. But she felt that before, I feel like before the age of 5, they need the mother support. Completely mother is the person who can give the complete support, their expectation. So I could felt that from her behaviors, where she changed when she starts going preschool and under the care of my grandparents. So that made me guilt, I'm doing something wrong. So that's what changed my mind to quit my job. So when I got when I was expecting the second one, I had that in mind, like I should not do that mistake. I should take care of them until, the little one is like at least 5. So, that's what that made my decision.
Great, Vani.
So, Vani, I wanted to add, when we were talking about motherhood, we usually think that mother is a very important part. Of course, mother is in both men and women. There is a mother, and I also see that men can become a mother. Truly, Tayu Manavar. Tayu Manavar means a person who became a mother. So you can think about, because men do not take any responsibility for parenting, and usually they blame the women for everything, because
Yes, Dr. Sean.
right.
Actually, absolutely. Father can play the same role, but with respect to the actually, there is a specific bonding with respect to the mother and the kid, because actually we are carrying the kid for 10 months, so we feel like the same heart is living with us, right? So that's the main thing. Then, with respect to the health, at least I would suggest like the breastfeeding should be done for 1 year. So that's a major difference. Like with my both kids, I can share my experience. Like for the elder one, I just fed for her like 8 months. For the elder one,
Right.
right. So uh, there is some difference in her immunity level for the health wise. I'm seeing, but for the little one, I'm still breastfeeding. I'm seeing a lot of difference in his health. So some of the things where the father cannot do for the kids. So taking care of the kid they can do, but for some of the things like
Right. No, I agree on that point. What I wanted to tell is that men should equally take a responsibility in raising the kids, not just blaming that. For example, today, women were suppressed in the last, 20, 30 years back. Now only people are trying to, in the last 10, 15 years, we're trying to get jobs and things like that. The awareness has come that women should not just only be in the kitchen, they have equal brain power, because men suppressed, it's a male dominated community. So all over the world, Western populations, they have, it has changed. They had much freedom, women. But overall industrialization has, collapsed everything, not understanding the value of, cooking and things like that. That was not. But what I'm saying here is that men have equal responsibility in raising the kids. It's not just women alone. Men need to sacrifice in certain cases. If women are um, working, if there is no option, what would you do? A men can turn into a women as much as possible. That's what I am saying. It's not that I'm saying women, mother is mother. Definitely, you cannot replace mother, the father. But a father can become a mother in some cases, and that's equally important, because we we think that men means you should read newspaper, you should go and play cricket and things like that. You can really play with kids, you can spend a lot of time with the kids, telling them stories. You can almost have many components of a mother, except for breastfeeding or other activities that a male cannot do. So that's what I just wanted to share. So here, so you have some comments from here. Great job, Vani. Great job, Vikram. Excellent sharing, Mahindran. So I think we are already running late. So, so shall we end here? Do you have any comments? Finally, Vani.
Thank you, Dr. Shan, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, all the courses, frame me in this way, like implementing all the conscious practices.
Okay. Thank you so much. And hopefully, for people were asking what you do for when you have a little bigger kid. It's very challenging, and it is challenging overall for everyone. Um, we have been trying to raise our kids, and it's very challenging. I don't know how far these changes around us going to impact. And if people are working, both parents are working, it's definitely a challenge. And we need to have a society that changes, because it's not just we changing ourselves, and that's how much we can do. But in a Siddha-Vetha community, we wanted to form a group, a community of conscious parenting, so that it's very easy for us to, because if you have a community, you go to another house, you will be exposed to junk food. What would you do? You changing yourself will not make any big impact, because you go to another food there. We took our kids somewhere, and we are fed with chocolates and all these things as if we did not give them anything, and they're like really crazy because we allow, right? So that is going to be a big factor. So here we need to be conscious that how do we interact, form a community. Like, I go somewhere, I can eat there, I can be safe. Find a friendship that is safe for you in terms of environment, and grow on this community, expand this. So that's what I would suggest for people. And Siddha-Vetha is trying to bring this community together, build a community, forming different groups, we did a very wonderful festival of lights of in North Carolina. So, in I think Virginia. So we had all the conscious life, conscious eating, and all these things were taught. So now we are for adults, like the teenagers. We have a course called Youth Career Accelerator Program, and we are teaching them how to, because in teenage level, this is not the language. It's not going to happen that way. So we have a language for the teenagers, what they can do. And so last couple of years, the Youth Career Accelerator Program that we've done impacted few students, few kids, teenagers, in such a way that they changed their perspective for life completely. They are going for integrative practices. They are very good kids. Their parents like them much, because they are into ancient science research, so we want you to spread this word to others around the world. You can take it from anywhere, so we made it very affordable. People from anywhere can take it. So we used to charge a lot, and we have considerably reduced, so that everybody in the world, even in India, Sri Lanka, or Africa, anybody can take these courses. So spread this word, introduce a teenager and change their life. So that's the course starting from 17th, 2 weeks from 17th of June. And then we have our transdisciplinary studies for parents. This is the first course, and we are encouraging parents to take this course, because you're not just introducing a kid and you don't know anything. It doesn't really make any sense if you don't change, like Jayanti told. If you don't transform and you don't see the transformation, kids will not make any changes. Do you think that you be the same and your kids will change? No, it's the parents who need to change, and that change has to happen through education. It can happen from inside, but we need really, in the beginning, we need this education from outside. So I thank you all. We are already running late. Thank you for staying so long. Have a great weekend. Thank you. See you next week.